The first actual mani' or preventative factor is haram money. Haram money. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pure. Inna Allah tayyib, wa la yaqbalu illa tayyiban. And He only accepts the pure. And Allah has commanded the prophets the same thing that He has commanded the believers with. And then the Prophet ﷺ quoted 2 verses in the Quran. يا أيها الرسل كلوا من الطيبات يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا مما في الأرض حلالا طيبا. O prophets, eat the pure. O believers, eat that which is halal and pure. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying, Allah is pure. Allah only accepts the pure. Allah commanded the prophets to eat pure and live pure. Allah commanded the believers to be pure, eat pure, and always be amongst the tayyib. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, gave the example of a person lost in the wilderness, of a person tired, hungry, dusty, disheveled, wandering in the desert. And he said, perhaps there's a person like that. He's going to raise his hands to Allah, that Allah saves him. Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi. Pause here. The Prophet ﷺ is saying, the man is very desperate. And generally speaking, when you're desperate, your dua will be replied to. We already mentioned this. When you're desperate, when you are very, very sincere and you need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the chances of your dua skyrocket. So he gave the example of the one who is the most desperate, lost in the desert, tired, hungry. He doesn't have any food, any water. He's saying, Ya Rab, Ya Rab. But then he says, وَمَطْعَمُهُ حَرَامٌ وَمَلْبَسُهُ حَرَامٌ وَمَشْرَبُهُ حَرَامٌ وَغُذِّيَ بِالْحَرَامِ فَأَنَّا يُسْتَجَابُ لَهُ. His food is haram, his drink is haram, his clothes are haram, his nourishment is haram. How does he think Allah will respond to him? In other words, what the Prophet is saying, an example of somebody whom you would think his dua is guaranteed. Allah will respond to his dua. And then the Prophet says, but here is a man, his entire earnings are haram. How preposterous to think he will get a response when his entire livelihood is haram.